I'm Devontae,
I'm Akeem Gardner.
and we're here representing 10,000 Acres and Atlas365 Incorporated. So today we're going to be talking to you about social entrepreneurship. All right, so before we begin on the presentation, I want you guys to pull out your phones and open up your camera. What you're going to do with your phones is scan this QR code, and you're going to have a link that pops up. This link is going to bring you to a survey that we took the time to create. It's just 10 questions, just so it informs us how knowledgeable you are about the topics we're going to discuss and go through today. It doesn't really matter what your score is, because at the end of the day, our hope is that you're going to know more leaving than what you knew coming here. All right, well, social entrepreneurship is basically anyone who takes up a business or sets up a business, and their main purpose is to create positive social change.
It's a way of pairing profit with purpose, solving some of the Earth's challenges or the world's challenges, both locally and globally, but while also allowing yourself to make a living.
All right. An example of a social entrepreneur could be Jaden Smith, who created Just Water. Basically, what he did was create water that could provide to a community of people in Flint and other places. So that's a good example of social entrepreneurship, and I'm sure you guys know more if you were to look around and just do some research. All right, so next what I'm going to talk to you about is the problems of the world, or Sustainable Development Goals. So what the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, are pretty much a blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet for now and for the future. So as you can see, we have 17 SDGs on our screen. So number 1 being no poverty, 2, zero hunger, 3, good health and well-being, 4, quality education, 5, gender equality, 6, clean water and sanitization, so similar to what Jaden Smith did, 7, affordability and clean energy, 8, decent work and economic growth, 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, 10, reduced inequalities, 11, sustainable cities and communities, 12, responsible consumption and production, 13, climate action, which we'll talk more about later on, 14, life below water, 15, life on land, 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and 17, partnerships for all the goals.
So what's important to remember here is that all of these goals are global goals, but there are local actions that you can do in your local communities every day that can help us as a local community, as a province, and as a nation work towards these sustainable development goals. The opportunity that we have in front of us today as social entrepreneurs is to pair profit with purpose and help us work towards some of these SDGs. What you'll see here is they talk about the theory of proximity. Those that are closest to problems are the ones that usually have the solutions for them. So that's why we want to encourage all of you to think about what you can do in your local communities, the problems that you guys face every day, and come up with some creative ways of solving these problems. The UN says that the global market for solutions for these sustainable development goals will reach $12 trillion annually, year after year, by 2030. Think about that. $12 trillion in money that you can earn for solving these problems. That's the opportunity in front of social entrepreneurs today. So some of the ways that we're social entrepreneurs. We're going to talk to you about 3 of our programs that we have going right now. And just to give you guys to give you guys some ideas of what you can do. The first one is the Rose Management Book and Sneaker Drive. Randy Osei, the founder of the Book and Sneaker Drive, he decided that he wanted to have local and global impact in the world that he works in, which is sports. So what he decided to do was start local camps, local clinics, local workshops where people can come and in our local communities, and the only way that you can get admission was by donating a book or shoe. So he gave an experience at a cost, but the cost wasn't money. You donate old books and shoes. That's how Randy gave local communities, created impact in his local communities. But then what he did with those shoes was he took it to Ghana and he gave it back to orphanages and schools there who don't have these throwaway items that we have here in Canada. So this is one way that Randy was able to create impact in a nonprofit way. Now, the second thing we have here is our for-profit company, Atlas365. As you can see, that's me, and I'm on a farm with industrial hemp. Now, just really quickly, because some people may get confused, think this is marijuana. It's not. Hemp is not the marijuana plant. Hemp has no THC in it. You cannot get high from smoking hemp. We do not do marijuana. What we do, though, is work with industrial hemp. We work with farmers across Ontario to plant this plant that not only has value, but also makes humans personally healthy and the world healthy as well. What does that mean? Well, hemp seeds are valuable because they have proteins, omega-3, 6, 9s. We know we live in a world of veganism today and plant-based meats. When you're able to create plant-based proteins from things like hemp seeds, instead of having to have get your meats from cows, pigs, and so on and so forth, you significantly decrease the amount of methane that we have going into our atmosphere, and we create a better world. Because of the value of the hemp seeds, we can not only sell this product and make money as a farmer or as an organization, but we can also have a positive impact on our environment. So at Atlas, we actually address 6 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that Devontae mentioned earlier, with our primary focuses being that of climate change, good health and well-being, and making sustainable cities and infrastructure. As you can see, Devontae and I on our farm in the summertime, working away in the fields, creating our social. Now I'm going to bring you back to another nonprofit organization that's also making social impact, called the 10,000 Acres Club. Now, the 10,000 Acres Club is a club looking to bring together people who want to create climate action, who want to fight climate change, and want to do something about it more than just marching, striking, so on and so forth. What the 10,000 Acres Club goal is for us to grow 10,000 acres of hemp locally in Ontario, and then transfer this hemp or process this hemp into industrial products that can be used to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in traditional supply chains. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but what does that mean, to be frank? If you look at this room that we're standing in, all this is cement, made out of cement. Cement's one of the foundations of what we live on. It's all around us. But the cement industry is responsible for 7% of global greenhouse gas emissions. If the cement industry was a country, it would be third among greenhouse gas emissions, only behind China and the USA. Think about that for a second. Now, what if I told you by growing hemp, what we can do is instead of making our buildings with cement, we can make our buildings with something called hempcrete. Not concrete, hempcrete. And we do that from the inner woody cores of the hemp plant. So what the 10,000 Acres Club's mission is to empower all of you, or our community members, the ability to sponsor and grow an acre of hemp up to 10,000 acres to help farmers who need the help with their economic activity, who needs help growing this plant because they want to create this impact as well. And it also returns the benefits of the hemp supply chain back to us as the individual community members, so that we can then go out and do things like purchase sustainable foods, sustainable fashions, get on the bus for active transportation, but even do things like grow your own home. Thus the logo. We're taking plants and turning them into houses. This is another way that when you start to think creatively, you can become a social entrepreneur.
All right, so where do we find support? There's support all around us. There's community organizations such as the Kitchener-Waterloo Community Foundation. There's also the Wellbeing Waterloo Region. More than that, there's even the library. The library has a lot of resources that you could find, from books to people. You could talk to them and get answers that you need. Grants. Many of us are in school or even starting up a business. Grants, they provide us money from the government without having to pay it back. So I don't know about you guys, but I love free money. So I encourage you guys to research and apply for grants. The difference between that and what a loan or OSAP is that you have to pay OSAP back. So grants would provide you with a peace of mind when you're graduating, and you don't have to pay it back a large lump sum of money. There's even financial institutions such as TD Ready Commitment. So there's a lot of banks that are looking to invest within the community and support businesses that are looking to make a social change. So if you feel like you're involved in something that does such things as that, I encourage you to apply to those as well. They will donate money. For instance, the TD Ready Commitment donates up to 10 $1 million grants yearly to organizations that make a social change. Mentorship. So there's all sorts of people around you that can help you, from teachers to friends, to librarians, to anyone really. And a lot of these people want to help you, but they're not going to just go out their way to help you. It's your job to go and find them and search for the answers that you need. So what skills will help you grow in the future? So we have a survey that we want you guys to do, and it mentioned hard skills. So there's such thing as hard skills and soft skills. So the difference between the two is that hard skills are skills that are measurable and that you can learn, such as reading, writing, math, etc. Soft skills are skills that kind of help you become a better employee, such as communication, working better with people, and listening. So in the future, because we are such a connected group of people across the planet, it's important that you continue to grow your soft skills and work well with people, because this will help you build your network, which will eventually help you in the future when you need help from someone or someone needs to put you in a better position. These are the skills that you need to develop in order to do such things.
Even in the workforce, and just to add on, just to point something out more specifically, I know you guys can't see it on this page. This comes from the World Economic Forum, and this is your 2020 skills outlook. What you'll see when we send this to you and when you can open it up wider, the two things that you'll notice is that a lot of these hard skills are declining in the workforce because everyone has it. A lot more people are going to university. So what they're looking for is the soft skills, the things like analytical reading, reasoning, learning, thinking, problem solving. These are the skills that are helping us. These are the skills that employers are looking for. And these are skills that are, again, are in high demand. In year 2022, we're about to be in year 2020. So what we would encourage you is that as you look at how do you solve these problems around you, how do you become a social entrepreneur, you think outside of the box than just what you learn in the classroom at school. You try to be creative, because when you're creative, that's when you make connections, and that's when you get the answers to a lot of these questions, and you stand out from the rest of the pack in how you want to bring your solution forward to market. So as Devontae mentioned earlier, and what we want to leave you here with today is a couple resources that can help you. On the right, you'll see two books that I would recommend everyone read. One called The Purpose of Capital, the other one called Winners Take All. But if you go to the library, there's so many books about social entrepreneurship, about corporate social responsibility, and about how we create change in our communities that are very important. What you can also look at is different incubators. Like in Toronto, we have the Mars for Impact Investing Center. In Waterloo, you have Community Tech that you guys can talk to. The Canadian government also has a lot of resources, especially resources for women entrepreneurs. One thing that we want to put an emphasis on is that women and girls, right now is your time to show what you can add to our world. A lot of people are realizing, aside from feminism, that women have a critical eye that sometimes men overlook. Women are they take less risks, and they double and triple check their work, where men sometimes don't. Or an example of something that I've heard, in Africa, they did a study that said when you want to make sure that a family is taken care of, you're donating to families in villages and you want them to get out of poverty, there's a significant difference when you give that money to the mother or the woman in the household versus when you give it to the father. Why do you think that is? But the answer is because when you give to the woman, they're always going to make sure that that money flows through to the children, that the children see the benefits. The fathers don't always do that. And that's the same thing that we're realizing in today's corporate environment, in the world, that women CEOs, women board of directors make sure that the whole company is taken care of. They take their duty to the company very, very, it's very, very important to them. Not to say that it's not important to men, but there's just something special about women entrepreneurs. So I would encourage all women, all girls, all youth that are seeing this, especially women, to take advantage of today's time and speak up and learn how to be an entrepreneur, learn how to be a leader. So what's our call to action? Why are we here talking to you today? Well, because what we want you guys to do is shift how you think. We want you guys to continue to be skeptics, to continue to ask questions, to continue to challenge people, and realize that there's just not one way of making it in life, one way of making money, one way of success, so on and so forth. You can truly do good work in today's day and age and make money and take care of your family. It doesn't have to be nonprofit or for-profit, charity or not charity. We're coming to an age where we have a little bit of both. Be analytical, be critical, use your resources around you, and try to create change because the world, the planet needs it. And like the theory of proximity says, it's the ones closest to problems that have the answers. And that's what we want to encourage you to do, to share those answers. The other thing that we want you guys to be aware of is that nothing's perfect in life. You're going to make mistakes. It's not about the mistake. It's about that after you make the mistake, you learn from it, and then you work towards success. So at the bottom here, I have fail, 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 and then succeed. Because when you learn from all these failures, like Jay-Z says, no such thing as a failure or a regret. It's always a lesson learned. And as long as you learn that lesson and then you implement action to never make that mistake again, you'll work towards success. So as you're on your journeys to becoming social entrepreneurs, don't worry about making mistakes. Just keep going.
To add to that, for those that may not know who Jay-Z is, he is a rap star. But to kind of give you another example, Wayne Gretzky probably said my favorite quote of all time, which is, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Essentially what he's saying by that is that if you don't try, you won't succeed. You're going to fail, it's inevitable, but what you do after that is the important thing. So I encourage you guys to keep going after things that you want, be skeptical, ask questions, and just don't be afraid to fail.
So thank you for joining our presentation. This is the period of time where we speak to you. As you can see, we have contact information for us here. You can reach us on email, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, if you want to sign up to the 10,000 Acres Club, you can do so at atlas365.ca/10,000acre or 10K acres, or you can simply just scan this QR code on your phone and it'll take you right to our website where you can sign up and learn more about what we're doing.
All right, so we've done enough talking. It's your turn now. Okay, so from this example of SDGs, you'll see 15 highlighted ones available up there. What you're going to do is choose one of these sustainable development goals in a group with a partner or even by yourself, and you're going to present a solution to one of them. So as you can see, we have something called IRAC. I for issue. So what is your local or global problem? R. So rule, what is the mission state you're going to work by? For example, remember Jaden Smith and water, he was working towards the sustainable development goal number 6, which was clean water. Analysis, why is it important? The important facts about the issue, mention those. Application, how does this apply to our community or your community? What are your action steps? And last but not least, conclusion. What's next? How are you going to solve this problem? We need to know your solution.